Major weather events across USA and Canada, December 19, 202. 5. Breaking. Coast-to-coast storm system unleashes havoc. Good evening, weather watchers. This is SkyAlert USA bringing you critical weather updates for December 19, 2024. Right now, a massive and dangerous coast-to-coast storm system is hammering multiple regions across the United States and Canada, bringing life-threatening conditions to millions of people. This is not your typical winter storm. We're talking about a powerful meteorological beast that's leaving destruction in its wake. Current situation: unprecedented wind damage. A powerful storm system is currently shifting from the Pacific Northwest across the northern plains, bringing damaging wind gusts between 50 and 70 miles per hour across vast portions of the Northwest, Rockies, and Plains. The National Weather Service has confirmed that this storm has already produced catastrophic impacts with wind speeds that rival hurricane-force conditions. The numbers are staggering. Wind gusts exceeding 100 miles per hour have been recorded across multiple locations, including a remarkable 144-mile-per-hour gust on Mount Coffin, Wyoming. To put this in perspective, these are winds strong enough to cause structural damage, uproot massive trees, and create extremely dangerous conditions for anyone caught outdoors. In Montana, where the history was made when Glasgow recorded a 78-mile-per-hour wind gust that set a new December wind record for the city. This isn't just breaking records, it's shattering them. Winter storm warnings and blizzard conditions. The upper Midwest is facing particularly treacherous conditions right now. A clipper system has brought multiple periods of snow, including significant lake-effect snow in northwest Indiana. Winter storm warnings remain in effect across 15 states, stretching from the Great Plains to the Mid-Atlantic region. Record snowfall has been reported across Wisconsin. Crosse, Wisconsin received 6.6 inches of snow on December 19, breaking the previous daily snowfall record of 5.4 inches set back in 1952. This is particularly significant because these records date back over 120 years. Rochester also made the record books with nearly 6 inches of snow. Some communities are buried under heavy accumulations. Tempe County saw some of the highest totals, with Tempe reporting 8 inches of snow. Vernon County wasn't far behind, with Stoddard receiving 6.5 inches. These aren't light fluffy snows either. We're talking about heavy, wet snow that's weighing down power lines and tree branches. Power outages affecting hundreds of thousands. The human impact of this storm cannot be overstated. More than 100,000 customers were without power across Colorado as strong wind gusts continued to pound the state. The situation across Washington state earlier in the week was even more dire, with over 300,000 customers sitting in the dark at the height of the Pacific Northwest windstorm. These aren't just inconveniences. We're talking about families without heat in sub-freezing temperatures, medical equipment that won't function, and spoiled food. Emergency management officials are working around the clock to restore power, but the combination of downed trees, damaged power lines, and ongoing dangerous conditions is making restoration efforts extremely challenging. Tragic loss of life. This storm has already claimed lives. In Twin Falls, Idaho, 2 children were critically injured when high winds toppled, rotting trees onto them while they were waiting for the school bus. This heartbreaking incident reminds us that these aren't just weather statistics. Real families are being devastated by these extreme conditions. In Kootenai County, Idaho, a falling tree killed a man who was sleeping in his home in Fernon Lake Village. The sheriff's department has issued urgent warnings for residents to stay away from large trees during these high wind events. When you have winds this powerful, even trees that appear healthy can suddenly come crashing down. Fire danger amid winter storm. Choose where things get even more complex and dangerous. While snow and ice are pummeling the upper Midwest, the Central Plains are facing a completely different threat. Elevated to critical fire weather conditions are expected in eastern Colorado. This means that despite the winter season, the combination of dry air, low humidity, and powerful winds is creating perfect conditions for rapid wildfire spread. Multiple wildfires have forced evacuations across South Dakota and Wyoming, with a massive blaze in Yuma County, Colorado reaching 40,000 acres. Think about that for a moment. In the middle of December, we're dealing with major wildfire evacuations. This is the kind of extreme weather whiplash that's becoming increasingly common. Canadian impacts. From coast to coast, our neighbors to the north aren't being spared. Canada is experiencing its own diverse array of challenging weather conditions from the Pacific to the Atlantic. Temperature variations across the country are dramatic, showcasing the vast geographical differences. In Western Canada, conditions vary widely. Vancouver on the Pacific coast is dealing with persistent rain and relatively mild temperatures around -8 degrees Celsius, but with over 140 millimeters of rain expected throughout December. The city's residents need waterproof gear as steady rainfall continues. Moving east to the prairies, conditions become much more severe. Winnipeg is experiencing brutal cold, with temperatures plunging to -27 degrees Celsius, accompanied by light snow and dangerous wind chills reaching -38 degrees Celsius. At these temperatures, exposed skin can suffer frostbite in minutes. The contrast between Vancouver and Winnipeg cities in the same country is absolutely remarkable. Toronto and southern Ontario are seeing more moderate winter conditions, with temperatures hovering around 1 degrees Celsius during the day and dropping to -3 degrees Celsius at night. However, residents should be prepared for the high likelihood of snow throughout December. The truly extreme conditions exist in Canada's far north. Yellowknife is enduring clear but brutally cold weather at -30 degrees Celsius, with wind chills near -45 degrees Celsius creating significant frostbite risks. And Alert, Canada's northernmost community, is experiencing -38 degrees Celsius, with wind chills approaching -50 degrees Celsius. These are survival-level conditions that require extreme cold weather gear. 3-day forecast. What's coming next? December 20th. Friday, the storm system continues its eastward march across the continent. The northern plains will see continued snowfall with blizzard conditions persisting in parts of North Dakota and Minnesota. Visibility will be severely reduced, making travel extremely dangerous or impossible in affected areas. The Midwest will transition from heavy snow to lighter accumulations, but lake-effect snow will intensify downwind of the Great Lakes. This means cities like Buffalo, Cleveland, and Erie could see significant additional snowfall as Arctic air rushes over the relatively warmer lake waters. Across the Pacific Northwest, conditions will gradually improve as the main storm system moves inland. However, gusty winds will continue, and power restoration efforts will remain hampered by occasional strong gusts. The Central Plains will see fire weather concerns diminish as moisture begins to move into the region from the south. This will bring much-needed relief from the critical fire danger, though existing fires may continue to pose threats. December 21st, Saturday, winter solstice. Saturday marks the winter solstice, the shortest day and longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. Temperatures will be warmer than normal across much of the United States, east of the Rockies, creating unusual conditions for the first official day of winter. The Southeast through Florida, the Tennessee Valley, Eastern Heartland, Texas, Oklahoma, and Hawaii will see cloudy skies with rainy periods. This means those planning outdoor activities for the winter solstice should have backup indoor plans ready. Snow will continue across the southern plains and much of Alaska. The western two-thirds of the country will see mostly dry conditions, with bright skies, providing a stark contrast to the active weather pattern of the past several days. In Canada, southern Quebec, southern Ontario, and the prairies will experience clear skies and mild temperatures. Atlantic Canada and southern British Columbia will see rain and snow with near to above normal temperatures. December 2 to ND Sunday. Storm. By Sunday, the main storm system will have moved off the east coast, but its effects will linger. Lake-effect snow will remain heavy downwind of the Great Lakes, with some areas potentially seeing additional accumulations of several inches. The plains will transition to quieter weather, with high pressure building in from the west. This will bring clearing skies and calmer winds, allowing for recovery and cleanup efforts to accelerate. Temperatures will remain above normal across most of the eastern United States, with some locations potentially seeing readings 10 to 15 degrees above average for late December. This warmth will help with snowmelt and reduce heating demands, though it may also create slushy, messy conditions in areas that received heavy snowfall. Severe weather impacts on transportation. Transportation chaos has been widespread due to this storm system. More than half of all flights into and out of Kansas City and St. Louis were cancelled at the height of the storm. Cincinnati also experienced significant delays piling up as the storm affected operations. Interstate 82 between Ellensburg and Yakima, Washington was completely closed due to multiple spinouts and hazardous conditions. Officials haven't announced when the road will reopen. Road travel remains extremely dangerous across affected regions. Meteorological context. Why this storm is so powerful. This storm system represents a perfect combination of meteorological factors coming together to create exceptional impacts. The rapid pressure drop, the availability of moisture from atmospheric river connections, the position of the jet stream, and the stark temperature contrasts between air masses have all contributed to this storm's intensity. Mode. What makes this particularly noteworthy is the breadth of impacts. We're simultaneously dealing with blizzard conditions, hurricane-force winds, critical fire weather, and record-breaking snowfall across different parts of the country. This kind of multi-hazard event stretches emergency management resources and requires heightened awareness from the public. Climate pattern influences. The broader climate pattern is playing a role in December's weather. A weak La Niña is developing in the Pacific Ocean, which typically brings wetter conditions to the northern tier of the United States and drier conditions to the south. This storm system fits within that expected pattern. Additionally, various atmospheric oscillations, including the Arctic Oscillation and North Atlantic Oscillation, are influencing the number and quantitating of Arctic air masses penetrating into the United States. These oscillations can also affect the development and track of coastal storms, particularly nor'easters along the East Coast. Seasonal outlook. Winter 2024-2025. Det. Looking at the bigger picture, NOAA's Climate Prediction Center is forecasting wetter than average conditions for the entire northern tier of the continental United States throughout winter, particularly in the Pacific Northwest and Great Lakes region. Northern and western Alaska will also see above-average precipitation. Meanwhile, drier-than-average conditions are expected from the Four Corners region of the Southwest through the Southeast, Gulf Coast, and lower mid-Atlantic states. This pattern could exacerbate existing drought conditions across the central and southern plains. Temperature-wise, most of the United States is expected to see average to above-average temperatures through the winter months. The exception is the Pacific Northwest, which may see cooler-than-normal conditions. December specifically is expected to be notably mild across much of the country. Safety recommendations. Given the dangerous conditions across multiple regions, here are critical safety for high wind areas. Stay indoors if possible. If you must go outside, be aware of your surroundings and watch for falling trees and flying debris. Secure loose outdoor items that could become projectiles. Avoid parking under trees or near structures that could be damaged by wind. For heavy snow regions, avoid unnecessary travel. If you must drive, ensure your vehicle is equipped with an emergency kit, including blankets, water, non-perishable food, a flashlight, and a phone charger. Keep your gas tank at least half full. Tell someone your route and expected arrival time. For extreme cold, dress in layers with moisture-wicking base layers, insulating middle layers, and windproof outer layers. Cover all exposed skin. Limit time outdoors. Watch for signs of frostbite and hypothermia. For fire-prone areas, follow all evacuation orders immediately. Have an evacuation plan and go bag prepared. Stay informed through local emergency management channels. Power outages. Have flashlights and extra batteries ready. Never use generators indoors or in enclosed spaces. Have a battery-powered or hand-crank radio for emergency information. Check on elderly neighbors and those with medical needs. Historical context. This storm joins a list of memorable and impactful winter weather events. While every storm is unique, this event bears some similarities to other major December storms that have affected North America. The combination of record-breaking elements from snowfall totals to wind gusts to power outages ensures this storm will be studied and remembered. The December 2006 Hanukkah Eve windstorm that hit the Pacific Northwest serves as a sobering reminder of what these storms can do. That storm left 1.8 million people without power and caused hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. While this current storm's impacts are still being assessed, the parallels are concerning. Looking ahead, Christmas week weather. Scarce. We look toward Christmas week. The weather pattern appears to settle somewhat. Travel conditions should improve substantially compared to this week's chaos. However, winter weather can be unpredictable, and travelers should continue monitoring forecasts closely. Southern Ontario, Southern Quebec, and the Canadian prairies are expected to see clear skies and mild temperatures as Christmas approaches. Heavy snow, with good chances for a white Christmas, are forecast across the western prairies and the Yukon. In the United States, warmer than normal temperatures are expected across much of the country, east of the Rockies during Christmas week. This will be good news for travelers, but may disappoint those hoping for a white Christmas in traditionally snowy areas. Community response and resilience. The response to this storm has highlighted both the challenges and the resilience of affected communities. Emergency management teams have been working tirelessly. Utility crews have been battling dangerous conditions to restore power. Neighbors have been checking on neighbors. This is when communities show their strength. Weather events like this remind us of nature's power and our need to respect that power. They also demonstrate the critical importance of preparedness, reliable forecasting, and clear communication of weather hazards. Final thoughts. December 19, 2024 will be remembered as a day when Mother Nature flexed her muscles across North America. From record-breaking snowfall in Wisconsin to hurricane-force winds in the Rockies. From devastating tree damage in Idaho to critical fire weather in Colorado. This storm system has delivered a little bit of everything, and all of it dangerous. As we move through the next 72 hours, conditions will gradually improve. The storm system will weaken and move away. Power will be restored. Roads will be cleared. But the impacts will be felt for days and weeks to come. Property damage will need to be repaired. Communities will need to heal. And we'll all be reminded once again that we share this planet with powerful forces we must respect. Stay weather aware, stay safe, and stay tuned to SkyAlert USA for continued updates as this weather situation evolves. We'll be here tracking every development and bringing you the information you need to protect yourself and your loved ones. This is SkyAlert USA, keeping you one step ahead of the storm.